Excavatron fight in the quarry following the Roberts Estate questline was the first true boss I encountered in my playthrough so far of Crimson Desert. I did have to repeat the fight several times as I had not quite figured out healing items yet and how to put them in the quick slots, so each battle was a no heals fight. While I'm sure there are plenty of ways to defeat this big bad robot, here's the guide on how I did it. Let's start with the Excavatron's move pool. It's possible there are more moves that I just did not encounter, and I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments if there are additional moves here. First up is a basic small lunging attack. When you're close by, it generally tries to use a couple of these in combination with a couple of other small attacks before moving on to something else. It does have a decent amount of reach, and if you get hit directly by it, it can kind of stun lock you in place for a moment while it just continues to drill you for extra damage. This attack should be fairly easy to dodge, and if you're good at sidestepping, could provide you time for a few extra hits. It also has a very basic two-handed drill attack. This can sometimes be used to go straight and do some sort of charging attack where it lumbers partway across the stage at you. As long as you're not caught up directly in front of it, you should be able to simply walk out of the way and catch up with it to land several really good blows on its back before it can get moving again. The next most basic attack it does is a two-handed impalement attempt. This attack does have pretty good reach and can also launch you if you get hit, potentially lining it up to hit you again. However, this can also be sidestepped fairly easily to allow you to get another hit or two on him while he recovers his poise for a moment. Just remember, he does generally recover pretty quick. After his series of basic combos, he does have a pair of attacks that I lovingly call the Diggy Diggy and Ultimate Diggy attacks. The regular Diggy starts with him typically rubbing his hands together like a praying mantis of death and shooting sparks everywhere while he digs straight down with both hands. The basic version has the bot chasing you around the stage as it burrows toward you, dealing damage if it catches you with a massive spike of damage at the end of the chase. The easiest way I found to avoid this is to fight him on one side of the stage, then make a bit of a curved dash to the other side of the stage until he pops back up. If you carefully count the eruptions, you can probably end up being fairly close to him as soon as he pops out on the final eruption to land a few hits, but it's generally safer in my opinion to just get the heck away. He does seem to do roughly somewhere between 11 to 12 of these minor eruptions before popping out of the ground, unless I've been miscounting them. They are very fast. Getting hit by an eruption isn't the greatest, but it is not game over, but getting nailed by him popping out of the ground will hurt quite a bit. The Ultimate Diggy attack is usually precluded by a flash of red light in the screen darkening. Ultimate Diggy is a series of 3 attacks in a rapid 1-2-3 pattern. Every third eruption will be him popping rapidly out of the ground. Getting caught in this does do a bunch of damage, and he launches you into the air before grabbing you and pounding you back into the ground, so if he has another Ultimate Diggy attack to go after you get hit, you're very likely to be dead. Again, just like the regular Diggy though, you can outrun this attack by sprinting the heck away from him as soon as he starts digging, as long as you don't find yourself trapped in a corner. That is the Marni Excavatron moveset from what I've noticed in my bouts with it. Let's talk about a few quick tactic tips for the fight. Generally, you want to keep the fight in one side or the other of the room. This gives you more space to run away when it starts digging. Fighting in the dead center may leave you with not enough space to escape in. Watch out for boxes and junk that are cluttering up the room, because if you start clambering onto one accidentally, it may give the mole man a chance to catch up to you. The bot does have a strange animation where it sort of stops and looks like it's trying to recalibrate, and then just stare at you menacingly while it does so. You can take this opportunity to beat on it until the second drill pops into its ready position. Then you need to make some space again, as it will attack pretty quick after that. Weapons with more reach seem to be far more effective here, as it allows you to land a blow more quickly and dash back out again before the bot can retaliate. Found with a spear, I could consistently dash in and land a strike or two and get out before it would start flailing at me, whereas with the sword, I would often swing at it and be getting popped as I was finishing my swing. If you're pretty good at sidestepping, the sword might be more efficient, as it does attack pretty quick when you're up in there and it's in its face. So if you can get a really good sidestep in, that might be more effective. I have heard that if you bring a massive stack of healing items, you can sort of tank most of the hits. I would assume from all 3 of the hits of the Ultimate Diggy, you would probably still die though. You may be able to just eat an extremely unhealthy amount of red meat to whittle Excavatron down in a bit of a stamina battle, but I didn't have any healing items on me, so I couldn't really try that. I also heard, and I'll leave a link to their video below, that you can effectively kite the bot around the fire pit as it is indestructible. I'm thinking there was an intention that you shoot the thing with fire arrows, maybe in the head as a weak point, but I did not try much bow and arrow on him, so that's at least my guess, since you normally don't have an indestructible fire pit in the middle of the arena. So that's my tips to beating Marni's Excavatron in Crimson Desert. I'll be posting a full video of the boss fight along with this guide, so you can find it linked below. As I was being extra cautious in that fight without the healing items, it's a bit of a long battle, so I didn't want to include it in this actual video as well. Have any other questions about Crimson Desert? Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave your questions in the comments, and I'll get to them as soon as I can.